Hey, blooming beauties. Welcome back to my channel. In light of the upcoming Beetlejuice movie, I wanted to make a Beetlejuice soap, and this entire soaping process was a roller coaster. From the hurricane trying to take me out during my soap cutting portion of the video to my feet aching. Y'all, this soap, I was literally making for hours because of the layers and the waiting for the lye to cool down, and I had a whole rotation going on just for the soap. Well, you'll see how it turned out in the end. Let's go ahead and get started. Like with all of my videos, I am measuring out my butters and oils. Typically I would separate my butters, double boil them, or melt them using the double boil method, and then add my oils at the end. But in this video, and I believe my last video, I decided to put it all in one bowl. So here I am measuring out my distilled water and my lye. So for this recipe, instead of making an entire batch and then dividing it at the end, coloring it, and then pouring it, I decided to process each layer separately. So if the recipe calls for, let's say, 140 grams of lye, I would divide that by 6 for the 6 layers. If it calls for 200 grams of liquid, I would divide that by 6. And if it calls for 1400 grams of oils, I would divide that by 6, all separately, because you have to allow the soap layer before it to fully set before you pour the next one, because I don't want to run the risk of it breaking through and ruining the entire design that I'm going for. So I added a little piece of Tussah Silk. I like to add that to my soaps to give it that nice silky luxurious feeling. And then as you see, I have the rotation going. So the first, I think the one to the right is what I'm currently on, and then the next one, oh no, not that one, so the one in the middle is the one that I was currently on. And then by the time I pour the layer and allow it to set, the next lye solution will be cooled and I'm ready to pour the next one. So I wanted to start off with black. So I added the activated charcoal directly to the oil, and then I added a little bit more afterwards, because you'll see once I add the lye to the oils that it turns into a gray color opposed to that jet black that I was looking for. But you'll see that. Just wait. As y'all can see, that color turned into gray, and that is not what I was going for. Everybody knows Beetlejuice's suit is black and white and not gray, so that is not what I wanted. So I had to add a little bit more activated charcoal to ensure that that color stayed that jet black like I wanted it to. So after mixing, I went ahead and poured into my soap mold, and that black is black. Like, if it weren't for that recessed lighting up there, you literally could not even see it. It was given Vanta black. But you'll see once I cut the soap that I made a mistake. I made a mistake with that layer. I wiggled it around to see if it was set, and it wasn't, and some of the soap got onto the wall of the soap mold, which created like a little slant. And again, you'll see that once the soap is cut. But by the time that layer was almost set, I went ahead and poured in the next layer, because again, I had a rotation going. So while I'm working the first layer, the second layer of lye and oil is cooling to the right temperature. So I did the same concept. I put in the titanium dioxide into the oil, and then I also added a little bit more once I fully blended it or emulsified it. And then with the next layer, because I didn't want to run the risk of breaking through the layer, I got a little spatula and I used making a whole mess. And the reason for that is, it's one thing to make soap, but making soap and then looking at the camera to make sure you're in the right shot, to make sure that you can see this, you can't see that, sometimes it gets a little chaotic. So that's why that whole mess was messing. And then I had to beat down, because you see this layer was more thicker than the first layer and any other black layer. Speaking of layers, so because I added the colorant directly to the oil, I feel like it kind of didn't give me the normal visualization of when the mixture is emulsified fully and then when I'm about to reach trace. So I don't have footage of the last 2 layers because, again, my camera overheated. So there were 2 layers after this. For the last white layer, I don't think that it was fully emulsified, which is what caused it to look crazy. And again, you'll see that. Alright, y'all, so this portion of the video will be dedicated to piping soap. So for any batter, all you do is continue to stick blend until it gets to this consistency or thicker. I like it like this. You can see the texture that it gives. So I'm trying to pipe in between those lines that are on the left, because when I cut the soap, I want there to be a dollop on each bar. And I was going to stop there, but it looked way too plain. So I decided to get another piping bag with a small tip and add these little dots. Y'all, I didn't know what to do. I was like, should I add? And then I added one here. Girl, what? Oh my gosh. Honestly, I didn't know what to do because it looked way too plain just to leave it with the green. And I didn't want to pipe the entire soap. I know that there was enough batter to pipe on the left and the right so that there wouldn't be any negative space. But once you cut into a soap like that, it gets all lost. So I didn't want to do that. So here I am piping some dollops of soap onto the loaf of soap. Now, because that started to look plain, look, I didn't even, I'm like, should I put it here? If I line it up, can I? No. I started to add purple, but it was not fully set. So I tried to scrape it off, but I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that this thing is going to scrape off cleanly. So I left it. And then I started adding some dollops of purple. Because, I mean, green, black, why not add purple? Because he has purple somewhere. Y'all, I haven't seen that movie in so long. I literally think that we had it on VHS. That's how long ago it was. I was a kid. So I'm gonna have to watch the first one before I even attempt to watch the second one. But here is the soap all finished piped. Y'all, I was tired. My feet were killing me. I need to invest in some Dr. Scholl's, Skechers, something. And this is everything, because everything was just everything, mixing colors, and it was a bunch of stuff behind the scenes. So this is everything, and I was so done. Now, here it is about 3-4 days later. Y'all, the top, the white part, was still soft. So I had to throw it in the freezer because I refuse, after all that work, to end up with the indie cold process soap. If y'all know, y'all know. I talk about that soap all the time. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to my page, look at the indie cold process soap, because it tried me. But here I am beginning to unmold the soap, y'all. I looked at the sides and I was like, look how straight those lines are. But but just looking at those stripes, I was like, this is it. Like, no matter what, this soap is beautiful. And as you can see, the bottom was still soft. It was all still soft, but I had to push through because we can't let all that hard work. I mean, even if it turned out messy, I would still let y'all see it because blood, sweat, and tears went into this soap. And not only that, it's to show that things don't always go your way. Things don't always go as planned. And when it doesn't, literally, that is okay. It does not mean that you're a bad soaper or that you're a bad business owner. We all have our days, okay? But here I am, very delicately trying to unmold it because I want to see this soap through to the end, and I will make sure of that. So here is the entire loaf, y'all. I was giddy. I was like so happy. Girl, I was singing. If I turned on this audio, y'all would hear me singing because I was so happy that I was able to unmold this soap in one piece. Like, look at it. So beautiful. Here I am cutting the soap. And again, because this was placed in the freezer, the top started perspirating. But look at it. You can see that little slant at the bottom, but it is still so beautiful. Okay guys, so I was just sitting here soap cutting, minding my business, literally showing y'all this beautiful loaf that I just unmolded. And Miss Hurricane, well, can I call her Miss? Well, can I call her her? No, I can't. The Hurricane Helene decided to take out my electricity, y'all. What? And I'm like, okay, what? It's giving spooky, it's giving Halloween, it's giving no. And then it cut back on. So I was like, okay, and then it cut back off. What, girl? Well, can't call it a girl. Anyways, y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next video, okay? Bye.
Daylight come and me want go home. Work all night on and drink a rum. Daylight come and me want